Welcome back to our daily Bible study. I am Matthew Gage, pastor at Faith Baptist Church in Decatur, Texas. We're in Genesis chapter number 37 today, and we get into the life of Joseph today, and very familiar story that I'm sure if you grew up in Sunday school, going to be quite familiar to you. So we'll deal with Joseph's early interactions as a young man with his brothers, the jealousy that comes up with that, and then how his brothers decide to get rid of him and come up with a plot to do so. So we'll get into this kind of exciting story here as we go. Genesis chapter number 37. Let's jump right on in. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now, just if you're keeping score, and I looked this up to make sure I'm right, that would be Dan and Naphtali, and then Gad and Asher. Those would be the four brothers he specifically would have been with. What this evil report is he came and brought back, we do not know. But from all the interactions we've seen with the the children of Jacob, my goodness, how can you even imagine what's going to go on? And we're not done with these rascals yet. From this chapter, and then we'll get into Judah in the next chapter, and they're not done being rascals by any stretch. But whatever it is they were doing, it was bad. He comes back and tattles on them, which right there you can already see that they're going to have a problem with little brother, that he's being a tattletale, not jumping in and taking part in whatever scheme, wickedness they were in on. Verse 3. Now Israel, once again, that's Jacob, his new name, loved Joseph more than all his children because he was a son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. So gave him a special piece of clothing to wear that set him apart from his brethren. Of course, we know Reuben would have been the firstborn. He would have been the one preeminent, but through his actions, and then was it Levi and Simeon, if I remember correctly, their actions, and we've talked about before that birthright kind of being passed down the line. Still, why him? Why is he doting on Joseph? Well, he's son of his favorite wife, of course, one of his old age. It's funny how the older people get, people really seem to dote more on children, especially a child or even grandchildren. We see that, the older they get, the more they spoil their little kids, their offspring or grandkids. So anyway, so give them this special coat. Verse number 4, when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. So they couldn't even carry on a conversation with poor Joseph because they were so mad at him. Verse 5, we're going to make things even worse. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood around about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. So they're out there harvesting, and what Joseph is harvesting stands up, and everybody else harvests, bows down, in obeisance, that is in subjection, showing the superiority of Joseph. And you can imagine, how do they feel? Verse number 8, and his brother said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. Now, I've heard people speculate on this, is Joseph just saying, hey guys, I had this weird dream. Can you believe this? I don't even know what it means. Is he acting out of ignorance? I think Joseph probably is a little cocky. I think Joseph is kind of rubbing it in their faces. He's a little bit of a spoiled child. And I think his character develops. The Joseph we see later is not necessarily the Joseph that exists right now. So I think he's got to be humbled a little bit through the actions that'll take place. Verse number 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Why 11 stars? Because 11 brothers. And he told his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. So basically, the doting father, Jacob, says, don't repeat this. You watch it. You shouldn't be saying these kind of things about your brother. But at the same time, he's taking notes saying, maybe God is telling him something. Maybe God does have something special for this son. So Jacob is marking that, but at the same time telling him you need to straighten up and you shouldn't be rubbing this in your brother's faces. That's all the background information. We have 3 cases where the brothers just do not like Joseph. That sets up verse 12. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. Remember, that's also, I was thinking about this, that's the place where we have the history of Dinah and such, so you can go back and got some history there. I guess there's nobody left, so it's good pasture land. Verse 13. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and came to Shechem. I think it's funny. All the other brothers are out there working with the sheep, and I think Jacob's learned, I can't send Joseph. They're just going to get into a fight. Joseph's going to do something, so he hadn't even sent them. But in this case, he just wants a report. Okay, this is safe. I'll send Joseph. He'll go check on him. He'll come back. There won't be much room here for anything to go wrong. Verse 15. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. So in this, Joseph goes somewhere, and I think it kind of throws them for a loop. Wait a minute, where are my brothers? He's kind of wandering around trying to figure out where they're at. Just random person here finds them, potentially random people in the Bible. In this case, kind of makes me wonder if it's not an angel. I don't have a lot of ground to base that on, but just kind of a feeling I have there. But anyway, so it says, no, you need to go to Dothan. So he goes to Dothan. Verse 18. And when they, his brothers, saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. They can see Joseph coming over the hill. He's got that very distinctive jacket on, coat. And so they say, here comes Joseph. Here's our chance. Let's kill him. We can kill him, and Dad will never have to find out. And that's basically what they're going to say here. Verse 19. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. So that's how sick of their brother they are. They're like, we'll kill him, we'll throw him in a hole somewhere, and we'll see what happens with those dreams. Those won't come true. He won't be over us at all. Verse 21. We'll see the oldest, Reuben, stepping in. And I'll tell you, Reuben here acts more like a voice of reason, and this is to Reuben's credit the way he acts in this passage. Verse 21. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. So Reuben comes along and basically says, brothers, no, let's don't get blood on our hands. Let's don't kill him. Throw him in this hole and we'll leave him. But Reuben's saying that because he's thinking, I'll come back later. I'll get them out. I'll take them back home and everything will be safe. So like I say, Reuben in this, he's trying to do what's right. Verse 23. And it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. So this caravan of traders coming through. And I'll point out right here, Reuben, who saved Joseph's life, is absent from this next little scene. Where is he at? We don't know, but this next little scene here that takes place, he is absent, and he will return after this next little bit. Verse 26, and Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content. So Judah steps up and says, guys, I got an idea. We won't kill him. Let's sell him as a slave. And that way, we didn't do anything. We didn't hurt him. We didn't kill him. So, they're saying there's evil in doing that because he's our brother, but we can't kill him, but we can sell him as a slave. I mean, who hasn't wanted to get rid of a little brother, right? I never had a little brother. I had a little sister, and I wanted to get rid of her plenty. So I can understand, I think, a little bit of their feelings here. Verse 28. Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph sold Joseph. I can't read all of a sudden. And sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. So the deal is struck. I can't imagine the conversation. They're saying, hey, don't listen to this kid. He says our brother. He's not our brother. He's a troublemaker. We're tired of hearing this. We just want rid of him. We'll strike you a deal. It's also interesting, 20 pieces of silver, because usually the price of a slave is 30. So that's an interesting little note there. I think they sold them as a bargain. So you can see they take that money, they're splitting it amongst themselves. Hey, we did a pretty good day's work here. We got rid of our brother. We made a little cash. Verse 29, Reuben returns. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. So first place Reuben comes, I think this is where he was coming back to sneak him away, to rescue Joseph and sneak him out of town. Well, Reuben comes back. There's nobody in the pit. Oh, my goodness, my brothers, they've killed him. He has no faith in his brothers. So he goes in the morning. He rips his clothes, that ancient sign of anger and despair and mourning. Verse 30, and he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and I, whither shall I go? It's like he's dead. Now what am I going to do? Dad's going to kill me. Now, it doesn't say here specifically that they tell him, but I think they tell him what they did. Oh, it's too late. You missed them. They're already long gone. We'll never catch them. We can't rescue Joseph. But we got to come up with a plan. And so here's the cover-up plan, verse 31. And they took Joseph's coat, that special coat that his dad had given to him, killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, this have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. So they come up and they say, Dad, we hadn't seen Joseph, but look, we found this coat. Look, it's ripped up. It's got blood on it. Tell us, is this Joseph's coat? And you see verse 33, and talking about Jacob, and he knew it and said, it is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. So basically, the cover story is, oh my goodness, a lion or a bear came and got him. He must be dead. Just look at what's left. His coat's in tatters, in the blood. So the official story is, what would be on the death certificate figured out at this time, is that Joseph died, via wild beast. Verse 34, and Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, and he said, for I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. So what a blow it is to Jacob. He has no hope left in his heart now that his favorite son, and the one that I think he may have been relying on God to continue the line through, that he thought, well, those dreams and such, he must be meaning for Joseph to be the heir, that line would be Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. I think that's what Jacob may have been thinking. But God has other plans. In verse 36, and the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard. So here we have this band of traders make it down into Egypt. They have a slave for sale, and who buys him? But an officer from Pharaoh's court. And we'll talk more about Potiphar coming up here in a couple of chapters, as we'll see Joseph in service to Potiphar and the events that take place there. Now, next chapter, chapter 38, we'll get a little bit of a break from Joseph's story. We'll deal with an event with Judah, and we'll talk about that next time. So anyway, appreciate you watching. I hope it's been a help and a blessing to you.